through it. And then also like the adults. So like I took it upon myself to bring in like the memory apps, and because I wanted like cause effect, even with dementia, understanding new learning, doing memory games. Tactus has that good one for, what is it called? I can't think of what it's called right now, but, specific for, attention. It's called the attention app, right? Attention therapy. Mm-hmm. So I wrote those in myself, but, no one, talked to me about like even, oh my gosh, I used to have to wipe it down, with the Clorox, and I have my gloves on, and then I was like, oh, the patient's going to touch my iPad, talking about that type of stuff, talking about how long should I have it, the patient exposed, talking about proper positioning, because they're sick, obviously, so should I be transferring them to a chair and making sure they're upright? And I mean, obviously, yes, that makes sense, but I learned that over time, that make sure they're comfortable before you have them engaging with an app. I mean, there's so many components to this that, yes, there should be a section on, engaging with technology that's a part of all of our schooling. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on out there.
What are some resources have you been utilizing, in, developing your venture, creating like Yup Guru, and then sort of streamline these app review processes? Have you utilized any tools from anywhere from different communities, special ed, speech therapy, or what have you found?
Well, there's a couple that I do, and I always bring them up in my presentation. So like Sean Sweeney Fives, that's one of them. And then I can't remember. There's two others that, talk about these rubrics for features that you should be looking for iPads. But I haven't found anything that has been like the gold standard for how to incorporate iPads. And again, that's why I created Exceptional Mobile. But with all of the stuff that I've been doing, I haven't had a chance to update it. So, I have an online course that is, it's 3 hours. And the problem is technology moves so fast that I'm already 2 iOS behind. I think it's iOS 9. So the screenshots and things that I showed, like showing the accessibility features, are already outdated. Mm-hmm. So I have to go back now and do that, but I don't have the time. And it also is now it would cost me money to change out the audio, and change out the visual that's there, so it's difficult. Technology changes so fast.
Mm. So if you would have people even from the tech community to join force with you and help this adventure you're doing, what type of resources would you look for or ask for from the other tech community?
I don't know. I think that there's presenters out there, like Sean Sweeney, like Caroline Musselwhite, who's specific for AAC, like Lauren Enders, who touches on things, about the iPads. And we're all in our own way creating like these one-off presentations about, best practices with iPads, but incorporating it with clinical integration, because this is something we've always known is if you're going to do an iPad presentation, all they want to know, Yao, is what apps do I buy? That's all they want at the end of it. Tell me what apps, which apps, so all of the other piece of it is like fluff getting up to that last thing. And then they're like, is there a list? Can I print this out? Everybody has said that they just want to know what apps to buy. And I'm always saying to them, you could use one app. You could use one app with every single one of your students if you just understood how to integrate it and shape it depending on your students' needs. Like it doesn't have to be an articulation app. It could be a language app depending on, what level that student is at. So I've even done that, and then they're bored out of their mind because it's just one app. It's very hard to teach a clinician to be creative.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so a lot of them just tell me what to buy, and tell me what to do.
You had a really strong point. I feel there is something in our education where we did not teach clinicians how to play, how to be creative. And then, if you were able to say, create a course that we can bring in play designers to teach clinicians how to design their therapy session to be creative. Mm-hmm. What do you think are some of, like, say you have this curriculum that you can now design your curriculum. What do you think are some of the target concepts or components that we should bring in for clinicians?
I don't know, because this is where I think of Toca Boca. So a lot of people love Toca Boca and a lot of people hate Toca Boca because you know why? They don't know what to do with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that one, the Monster app where you feed them is so fantastic. I mean, I could do that for hours all day. Actually, I might do that next week. I could take that with every single one of my groups and I could work on different things. And other people are like, I hate it. There's nothing going on. You take the food out of the fridge and then what do you do? And I'm like, oh my God, like how can you teach someone what, how to shape the tools that you have available? So I don't know. I mean, this comes to like that other piece of it is, are you a creative clinician? Are you a thoughtful clinician? Or are you just somebody who does everything by the book?
This is really hard to teach even for professors. I think the art of therapy is going to be a lifelong discovery for everyone. Thanks so much for all these wonderful inputs. And then, you mentioned, besides the App Guru, the app review site, you also created an online university, really trying to educate individuals. Even though it's been just under 1 year, have you learned anything special about this particular experience?
Have I learned anything special? I think what it did is it solidified what I already thought, which is that people do want to learn online. I was a little nervous about that people only want to be, in person. And I'm finding that they do like that medium. They are able to get clinically applicable information, and they value that. And they do see the value of not having to travel somewhere, not having to take off of work, all of the additional financial investment that comes from it. So, I have proof of concept. I definitely know that there is a value to it and that they can put a dollar amount to it. And that was the other piece that I was a little worried about because we're so used to the subscription model. I was worried that they were not going to be able to kind of wrap their head around the value of one course from one presenter, and paying for that. But absolutely, if there's, if the information is valuable and the presenter is credible, that's the other piece of it. So, somebody who has a following and they've established themselves either as a in-person presenter through their blog, TPT, through a book, something. They have to have some type of following. Then they are having the people who are willing to purchase a course from them.
Mm-hmm. So besides these two ventures, have you thought about creating your own mobile application for speech therapy?
Nope. And a lot of people have asked me that. And I've actually had a company who offered me, like, whatever you want to do, we'll give you money. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And again, it's really because I feel that the app market is saturated. I don't see myself as creative enough to create something new, that's not out there yet. So I really respect anyone like yourself who have put the time and the energy into putting together a team, putting together your thoughts, your ideas, creating that interactivity, putting it into technology. And there's so much to think about. It's unbelievable. So yeah, it is so much effort, and I just don't know if the ROI is there, for what you have to put into it.
Yeah. This is great. So my final question, going back to your whole journey with the apps and now moving kind of out of apps slowly, but also becoming like educator of how to use apps. What do you think iPad itself has to offer for children with special needs? And then how do clinicians should continue to leverage this and become a great educator, not to just the student, but to parents, teachers, administrators, and, technologists?
I think that it's too much. The iPad, it brings too many apps, like you can load it up, you can have all access, and it's too much for the individual to self-regulate themselves to just use one app at a time. And that just goes along with the way that the whole world is. You want anything, you can have it now. Amazon yesterday, and I think that that's this oversaturation. So you give someone an iPad with 30, 40 apps on it, and it's just too much. So there's got to be controls, there's got to be supervisions, and I have felt that since the minute I got my own iPad. And the parents have to understand, the tool that they have in their hands rather than, this immense toy. It's very dangerous. And then you're getting too much screen time, you know? And this just